It's getting rough, but I just won't give up. The competition's getting really tough. I'm gonna hop in, cause I'm not stopping. No way, no how, I know the game's inside. I always race to win, keep running to the end. I gotta move and stay one step ahead. See that they want me go the only way I know. Because you know I always race, always race, always race to win.
Hello everyone, it's me, Bloody Dragon Sonic. Today we're going to take a look at the Formula E Monoposto Championship postseason. Yeah, this is basically my excuse to not get bored while making Sonic videos throughout the month of December. As a Sonic fan, it will be pretty hard. But, yeah. So, how is this going to work? We're going to head to Magny Cours for one race without a safety car. It'll basically be the Season 7 grid so far. Not everyone's going to have their helmet perfected, not every team's going to have their final livery, because Season 7 will take place in the new game. But, for those of you who are new here, I actually get to do a driver and team rundown. So here we have Faraday Future Dragon Racing, Stefan Salazan and Aldridge, the number 90 and the number 88. Then come Envision Racing, consecutive numbers, Inet Babinas, Mr. Maserati at this point, basically being the guy who helped the original Maserati team that this was actually become somewhat of a title contender and then come into their own when they rebranded as Envision. The Season 7 is going to be partnered with the number 7, Ravo, the man who has now departed his own team and gone back to the team that was Next Evolution Neo, his first team. Then comes, well, Ravo's own team, HWA Race Lab. Mersanovic, the Turkish driver, he's currently using Ravo's helmet for this point in time while he's trying to hold down his own helmet design. Partnering him is the always impressive UK ball. And as for the HWA team themselves, hopefully they can manage Season 7 pretty well without their original team owner from Season 4 onwards. Then comes the reigning world champions, Nissan Edams. It's a slightly altered Season 6 Cherry Blossom livery. You can see with a bit of red on the side pod getting into the back of the car. And also more of an emphasis on top is mainly red, Cherry Blossom mainly on the sides. Bladed Dragon Sonic in the 44, big Hamilton fan he is, and also a Sonic fan. Yes, it's me. And Milestone in the 95 as well. Probably a Lightning McQueen fan. I don't know. Then comes Upshape Audi Sport, the team, probably the only team where the colour on the timing tower has almost nothing to do with the colour of the car. There is almost no red on this car, and yet the timing tower colour is red. Batuco and Dash Sanchez have been at this team since Season 3, and it looks like they're going to keep going strong. Probably one of the most solid driver lineups we ever do see. The same cannot, however, be said for DS Virgin Racing. The 97 and 98 of Pisiada and Alan Lee, respectively, have come into contacts on many an occasion, so be on the lookout for that. Then comes Tiwaguri. Just saying, back in Season 2, these guys were bankrupt. They came back from that, and look at where they are now. New funding from Golf has allowed them to blossom in a brand new way, and Mohamed Awawi and Medicis are definitely showing the best that team has to offer. With Trolley, however, it's not that simple. GamerCat at 1411, the newest driver on the grid, joining last season around the tail end, and Paul Rock. These two drivers make up the youngest driver lineup pairing on the grid, and honestly, one of the at least consistent, scoring the least amount of points out of any of the driver lineup pairings that have driven a full season. Then comes Mahindra Racing, brand new livery. It was shown off about midway through Season 5, I believe. And the same could be said with this driver lineup. The number 13 used to be with Blade Dragon Sonic, then he became world champion, and then he gave it to Marcus Nelson. Then comes the other Mahindra driver of Yusuf. He's got a pretty cool helmet, if I do say so myself. Then comes Jaguar. In Season 5, Jaguar were giant killers. They won their first championship double. The season prior, they won the World Constructors' Championship. The season after, Rodney Solo became world champion. In Season 6, they fell off hard. Rodney Solo has retired, and they've enlisted the help of the Spaniard El Carlos from DS Penske. More on them in a minute. But staying at the team is Catfish, a pretty reliable point scorer if you ask me. Here's that DS Penske team themselves, and long-time viewers, you may have noticed that Rodney Sola is the only outgoing driver. So how have they managed that? This is how. Not Lewis Hamilton has moved to DS Penske because of basically his old employers at Envision didn't feel like he was doing a reliable enough job. He was crashing out too often, so they basically gave him to Penske Autosport. Then comes Tom O'Connor in the 26, mid-driver. And yeah, that gives you the full driver lineup. We're gonna head now to Magny Cours. It says Montreal on your screen, but it's actually Magny Cours, I promise. I promise we're heading to France for the postseason. So let's head to qualifying for that postseason. On the left-hand side of your screen, you can see the qualifying order. It's Razor Paul from Blade Dragon Sonic, Ronnie Sola, and El. Then you came Catfish. Give me a sec because the audio is turned up way too loud. Mechanovic, Arnett Babnis, Daph Sanchez, Batuco, Tom O'Connor, Aldridge, DCL, Polarock, Medicis, Gamercat, Yusuf, not Lewis Hamilton, Alan Lee, Marcus Nelson, and Mohamed Nawawi. We're going to see where Stefan Salazar can qualify, but also, good note, take a look at the steering wheel display. The numbers in a bit of a light green on the bottom left will very much help you understand how the race is unfolding just that little bit more. If I don't mention something about how much damage a car has, take a look at the steering wheel display. Also, the two red buttons on the steering wheel. Basically, how the steering wheel works here, the bottom number is how much damage the car has. They all start at 100% and they lose these percentage points each time they get hit. If they hit 0, then they're out of the race. Tire percentage, that's the top left. And that will basically be how much life there is left in the tires. As we come down into the Wall of Champions, the chicane, and we're about to stop a lap with Stefan Salazar coming down into the first triple turn. The other number there that you should know about is tire temperature as we come through the little hairpin that comes after the left turn flick. Coming up now into the other chicane, the bottom on the right is ERS. They have 100% at the start of the race. They regenerate this through braking. And on the left, it is the DRS. It's a little flap at the back of the car. He's gained 28 seconds from his reconnaissance lap. As you can see, DRS flap is open as we come into the other chicane. Braking hard, as you can see, 14% ERS used. And he's going to have to use the rest of it as we come onto the back straight. We come through the hairpin now. He's lost a whole second through there. He's got DRS on. And DRS is open for the Faraday Future Dragon racing car, which can be a bit unwieldy through qualifying. It's definitely unwieldy for Sadazan as he's down on the pole time by quite a few seconds, hopping over the curb that is at the Wall of Champions, and his lap time 10 seconds slower than pole. Let's head to the grid then for the postseason at Magny. And as previously mentioned, it's Ravo on pole from Bladed Dragon Sonic. Then comes the other Nissan of Milestone, and then El Carlos for Jaguar Racing. UK Ball, Catfish next up in 5th and 6th, and Mechanovic and Ina Badness. Then the two Audis of Dav Sanchez and Patuco. Then Tom O'Connor, Aldridge, Piciota, and the first trolley of Polar Rock. Then comes Medicis, Gamercat, Yusuf, and not Lewis Hamilton in the 5. Alan Lee, Marcus Nelson, Mohamed Rawawi, and in last place for the qualifiers, Stefan Sadazan. Well, it's a very wet affair here in Magny, but let's see how the teams have started season 7 off as all 5 lights go on for the postseason, and we go green in Magny. That's an amazing start then for Bladed Dragon Sonic, as you just saw there, just about coming out of the corner of your eye. They're going side by side into the first chicane. Oh, it's always so very close between the two of them, almost colliding, but Bladed Dragon Sonic coming out ahead. Yusuf almost coming into contact with Polar Rock there, but out in front, Bladed Dragon Sonic losing a bit of ground to Ravo, who has pulled 0.8 of a second on the Nissan of Milestone, who's gone past his teammate. El Carlos up into 4th, getting past his own teammate in Catfish, and he's looking as if he could try and send it on the Nissan of Bladed Dragon Sonic, but out in front, Ravo with an amazing start, 1.2 seconds ahead of Stone's Nissan. As down the inside, you just about saw there, El Carlos, the number 12 for Jaguar, the Spanish driver sporting Fernando Alonso's helmet. He's up into 3rd place ahead of the, oh my god, 5-time champion coming into the Wall of Champions. And then, oh, very nice, but because of the reduced speed that we have to run at in the wet as we begin lap 2 of 24, Marcus Nelson with a 5-second time penalty, and he spun it at the Wall of Champions. And the driver who has run the most races without scoring a single point, that record stood at 17, by the way. Fastest first sector for Ravo then, after we had yellows at that 3rd sector right before the start finish line, coming through the 2nd chicane. Technically, no, it's the 4th chicane. Jeez, this track is chicane after chicane after chicane. Coming through the hairpin, very nice exit from the Envision driver, very much enjoying his new ride, which is basically just a repainted Nissan. I should probably preface this with a lot of teams do have their own cars, but Envision, being the newest team, they've decided to borrow the chassis from Nissan. And we've got yellows in the 3rd sector, and Impermanence is out, and it's a virtual safety car, full course yellow, here in Magny at the postseason. And Impermanence, for his own team in Envision, is out. Now, as you can see, they've cleared that away very quickly, but now they're just making sure that all the debris is gone. Marcus Nelson has no damage after his crash. Virtual safety car ending now as the leaders coming into the halfway point of the 2nd sector. We go green again here in Magny. Ravo leads, Stone 2nd, UK Ball 3rd. On board with El Carlos, probably the 2nd youngest driver in the top 4 teams. The only one younger is the Turkish Mechanovic. As down the inside, audacious move for the 44, Bladed Dragon Sonic trying to take 4th from the Jaguar, and he has done it. He's going to get just that extra little boost from a bit of VRS usage as his teammate ahead trying to send it on UK Ball, coming through the chicane, and we've got yellow flags, and this to the wall goes Bladed Dragon Sonic! Missing part of his front wing. He's going to have to come to the pitch for that, isn't he? 59% car damage And that is what happens when you try and go 3 into the wall of champions. Just isn't going to work. And the champion has gone into that wall. The only champion on the grid now. Oh, there has only been 2. But that's not that hard. Barca's first sector has actually gone to UK Ball, who is actually gaining on the Envision of Ravo. As we go on board with the Italian driver, the number 7 coming through the hairpin, looking back. Bit of Xiaomi branding there, and one of their partners coming down the long back stretch. One of the longest straights on the calendar that we usually do have in Magny Cours. Coming down and through the chicane, as just a few seconds back into the pits comes the Nissan of Bladed Dragon Sonic. Meanwhile, his teammate coming through, leading a bit of a train here, spanning him, El Carlos, and Mechanovic. Batuco now coming through that World Champion, sticking a very wide line there. He's got Aldrich on, he had Aldrich on his inside. And yeah, Bladed Dragon Sonic's going to have to come out into the midfield then. Is he within the top 10? He's just been passed by Game Account there. He's down in 12th. As Aldrich finding himself side by side with Tom O'Connor, as Catfish hitting the fastest first sector of anybody. You saw it flash up on your screen there. On board with El Carlos, the number 12. Very good showing from Jaguar today. Currently running 4th and 5th as it collided. And that is how you box and overtake, everybody. They could have just done a bit of team orders, but no, they decided against it. It didn't pan out for them. They collided somewhat. And Catfish and El Carlos have had their first tussle as teammates. It's on board with El Carlos and Catfish, neither of them sustaining any meaningful damage. In fact, Catfish having the fastest lap of the E3 at 1:03.716. So of course he was going very quick on that lap. He definitely was the fastest driver on that single lap. But they could have let it, the Malaysian pass was in a cleaner way and sideways. That's Owen Lee, and he's punted out of the race. Not Lewis Hamilton. He's in a bit of a situation he can't get out. He's getting out now, but he's had to hit Marcus Nelson there. We're still under virtual safety car conditions. But that is not what you want to do for your first race for your new employers. You wanted to show why it was a mistake for Envision to let you go. But now you're just showing them, yeah, that was the right decision. Because you've just been spun and you've hit someone else while doing it, not even using your mirrors. On to lap 7 we go now then. Ravo's just started that and he's 1.5 seconds ahead of UK Ball. In fact, 2 seconds as into the wall has gone El Carlos. What a wreck there. And he just pile drived into the barriers, missing his entire front wing setup. 71% car damage. It might be getting a bit drier, who knows? But all we know currently is that El Carlos has definitely ended his chances of potentially getting a podium here in the postseason. On board with the number 44, fast forward on his helmet as he tries to get past Tom O'Connor into the second chicane, and he does manage it. Up into 9th place goes the now recovering 44 for Nissan Edams. This is actually, I think, is he the only driver who hasn't moved teams? I think he might be. No, Sierra hasn't moved teams either. UK Ball's into the pit. Same with Milestone. It's definitely drying out here, and it's time for intermediates. Think the top 5. We could actually probably see a different thing happen. As Spun has Sierra has been spun at the hairpin. It's all good now. Ravo actually stayed out there, so he's trying to get a bit of track position, see how much faster he can go on his wet tires. But everyone behind him's come in. El Carlos is falling down hard. He's got no pace without the front wing, and someone's gone into the wall. Not even the wall. Gamer Cat's out in the pit lane. And Stefan Salazar actually went a bit backwards in the pits, and that is another pit lane incident that has caused the driver to retire here in Magny Cours. The Magny Cours track layout is actually the exact same as the Montreal one, which is why I've been saying it's a thing that we see commonly in Magny Cours, but it is dry now. So Ravo was right to stay out. Virtual safety car ending. He's not just stayed out on the wets throughout the entirety of the intermediate conditions and not had a single incident. He's also been able to not even do the intermediate stint. Blade Dragon Sonic, however, finding himself up in 7th place. It's still a bit wet. UK ball coming in. This is, however, the perfect time to come in and change your tyres. We might see a bit of a pit lane overtake maybe from Jaguar, because their pit box is far up. So let's see what happens here. Catfish currently second. He's going to have to relinquish that to UK ball, but will he relinquish P3 to Stone? No, he will not. Stone down in 4th now. Mechanovic in 5th. Blade Dragon Sonic, he's coming into the pits now. And it showed intermediates for a second there. It's softs going on to the Nissan. That's an interesting strategy. Someone's going to the wall again around the pit lane. Probably no, we're all fine now. Very interesting how many collisions occur around the Wall of Champions. As into the wall has gone Ravo. He's spun it. He's hit the barrier. Gone into it again. The opposite one that time. And he's lost part of his front wing at the Wall of Champions as he's lapping cars now. That is Seattle in 16th that he's about to lap. Meanwhile, coming down the back stretch, it's UK ball as Catfish few seconds up on Stone as someone else has gone into the barrier, and that's UK ball. That's a former teammate to Ravo who's going to the wall there. Track's been cleared once more, but will the other HWA kind of save time? Yes, he will. Blade Dragon Sonic then coming down the back stretch. Very, very steady as she goes, it seems, from Nissan. Just making sure that he can maybe have a bit more traction coming through. He's on the wall as well. He spun it in the same manner as Ravo. Can he keep his wheels going? He has to let Marcus Nelson by, reversing through, making sure nothing bad happens. He's been spun by El Carlos there. Tom O'Connor been given a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision with El Carlos, but El Carlos himself not actually being given a penalty for his collision with Blade Dragon Sonic. Ravo's come into the pits then on the start at lap 11 of 24. He's leading, but with a pit stop having to just happen then for a bit of a collision at the Wall of Champions. It's out of the race. Goes 2 cars. It's Catfish's milestone at the Wall of Champions, and spinning on a bit of debris is Mechanovic, and that is the spin of all time. I have never ever seen a spin like that happen, even at Magny Cours. Will he go out though as he tries to reverse back onto the main stretch? Yes, he can, but he's got a bit of damage to his car. Coming down the back stretch at a slow speed, that speed will improve as the virtual safety car is ending. We're at half race distance, but we've lost a Nissan and a Jaguar. Coming through the chicane then at a reduced speed. Those two have just come through. Carlos sending it down the inside. I can't really make out what that was. That was not Lewis Hamilton. Blade Dragon Sonic to come into the pits on this lap. I'm a bit ill, but you know, we power through anyway. Mohammed Nawawi in the 71 as it's the wall has gone Ravo again, and he's now posing a bit of a blockade. He's lost part of his front wing. He's going to be able to keep going, I think. He has been able to keep going, but as the two HWAs come down into the Wall of Champions, very clean entry from UK ball as we go on board with Mechanovic, and he spun it at the area again, They say track's been cleared, but he was facing the wrong direction as we got a virtual safety car and Mechanovic kick out. Mechanovic is out, sorry. Bloody Drunk Sonic actually now finding himself down in last place, but at half race distance is another VSC. And Marcus Nelson's actually finding himself in a very good position here. Because, like, he can defend very well. He is a man who knows how to defend high positions. He's also the man who's had the worst average point scoring record, but, you know, we ignore that. He can defend, and that's all that matters. And in the wall! Let's go and play Dragon Sonic! He's had a bit of a tank slapper then. He hit the wall with a weird tie, he just kind of snagged it. Lost control of the car coming out. And yeah, not very good. Ravo's into the pits though to repair a bit of damage that he incurred. But wow, that's a lot of incidents, and it's only half race distance. Will we see any more? UK Ball's actually going pretty slowly, and he's got a front right puncture. A front right puncture for the HWA Race Lab driver UK Ball. El Carlos swooping by to take the easy position. And everyone's going to be passing him now, coming down the straight, as into the wall! I've said that so many times today, but into the wall is gone. El Carlos is into the pits. Comes UK Ball to fix, or rather change onto a different compound of tires. He's going onto the softs. Just wow, it's absolutely shocking how many incidents we've had today. It's into the wall and out of the race. Goes Bladed Dragon Sonic. Honestly, you didn't really expect him to do too much more in this race. He just had so many problems with the traction and control systems in the car. And he's just out now. Virtual safety car on lap 13 of 24. As car number 13 is in second currently. But he's got 10 seconds worth of time penalties to his name, which will be added when the race ends. Well, now we can measure how long the straight is. It's a whole 18 seconds, as that's the gap between Ravo and El Carlos, who should have DRS on Marcus Nelson. He doesn't. He does now. He's using ERS, sorry. Not even DRS. And he dives into the pits, and that's Marcus Nelson. And he has gone into the wall. He's lost part of his front wing. He's going to have to come into the pits on lap 15. It's absolutely shocking how many incidents occur at that Wall of Champions. El Carlos coming out down in 15th place. You can just about see the Aguri out ahead of him. We're on board with the Envision driver, the Italian Ravo, who comes to the World Champions and hits said Wall of Champions, losing a bit of his front wing there. Again, it's not even anything new at this point. Genuinely, I am shocked at the amount of incidents that we've seen at that Wall of Champions. Marcus Nelson, he's going to have to come in. Ravo, he's going to have to come in. So that will mean, as long as Ravo can't build up a gap, Batuco will be leading the C3. He comes through the Wall of Champions along with his posse behind. UK Ball's been given a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. It's behind them. A huge pile-up. That is Matisse's in the wall. And Sarazan involved in that. Mohamed Awawi, a passenger in that somewhat. Polarock came into the pits. Scheduled stop. Sarazan missing part of his front wing. It's another virtual safety car, and it's another incident at the Wall of Champions. Might as well just call it the Wall of Crashes, since only one of the drivers who is out is a champion. Lap 15 of 24. 9 to go. I guess it's time for me to say generic YouTuber thing. Please subscribe or I'll take your life. Into the pits comes Ravo on lap 15. 17 seconds between him and Batuco. It'll be close on pit exit. but I believe Ravo's gonna have it. It's not even close at pit exit. He's coming through the pits now. 9 seconds, 8 seconds, and he's gonna come out ahead on lap 16 of 24. The race lead will not change hands. It's not Lewis Hamilton just trying to get past, and his teammate spins it at the wall of champions. He's lucky not to be out. He just about gives it a little nudge, and oh, up in the air. Look at that. That's Sienna, and oh my goodness me, what has gone on here? It's absolutely shocking, and I can't even speak about it. I don't believe what I've just seen. You might get a little bit of mini replay of on your screen slowed down, but my god, what an incident involving everyone from 8th back. El Carlo's finding himself back up into 6th place. He's definitely the man on the mission. Ravo, however, for however many incidents he's had, with 8 to go, it'll become 7 to go after this lap. He's done his best to keep himself in the race, but he's out now. Ravo, the number 7 for Envision Racing, out at the wall of champions. And it's another virtual safety car. Batuco inheriting the lead from the Envision driver's mistake, as into the pits comes not Lewis Hamilton and Aldridge. Now Aldridge having the highest placed grid box of anyone because he drives the Dragon, the first team in the championship. All of the new teams that have come in since season 1 have just bought out the team entry name from the other team that they came in for. My goodness me, you might as well just keep an eye as Sanazon's gone into the wall. We just about saw a bit of that tank slapper, but we're only here for the aftermath. And luckily for him, he's still in this race, almost giving Yusuf a bit of a nudge there. Huge incidents going on. We're actually only down to 13 cars in this race. We usually finish as minimum 17. That is the lowest number we usually have. That is the average lowest finish. But no. And into the wall is the new cable. Oh, I was just taking a bit of a breather there, and they just won't let me. They can't let me. I can't even talk about overtakes. But you know what? I guess I will. Aldridge trying to gain on not Lewis Hamilton, running over a bit of HWA's debris there. And oh, into the wall and out of the race has gone Marcus Nelson, running over that piece of debris. Usually we would have safety cars, which would actually limit the amount of crashes that we'd have in a single race. But no, today we don't, because it's just the postseason. We don't need the safety car in the postseason, so we don't have the safety car in the postseason. This is a one-time thing. Maybe you might do more postseason stuff. Virtual safety car ending. Hopefully no more crashes. Hopefully we can get 5 laps of hard, fair, clean racing. Coming down the back stretch then. And the UK ball's definitely going to have to come into the pits. Looking back with Batuco as he's coming on to that wall of champions. And he's coming in. Everyone's coming in then. It does look a bit overcast as El Carlos has gone into the wall. And off goes part of his front wing. It's actually the wrong side of his front wing that's actually come off though, considering how he actually collided with the barrier. That's UK ball's 5th pit stop of the E3. And into the wall also goes Polrock. Truly having an incident at the wall of champions. Yellow flags being flying. It's cleared now. But my god, there's so many incidents. And out of the race has gone Tom O'Connor. Looking back with Mohamed Awawi. And he's done the exact same thing that Polrock did, but he's lost his front in suspension. He's out of the E-Prix on lap 19 of 24. And if another driver is out of this E-Prix, then everyone who finishes will get points. Points are awarded from 1st down to 10th, ranging from 26 all the way down to just 1. There's also an extra 1 for fastest lap, which is currently held by the driver who is out of this race. Catfish, El Carlos on 12% car damage. That is abysmal. So he's into the pits then. But my god, 12%. How do they even manage that? Coming through the wall of champions and into the wall of champions goes not Lewis Hamilton. God, I love corner names, but when they mean something this literal, it becomes less fun. Batuco's hit him as into the wall has gone Polarock again. Oh my god, what are we even seeing here? The two Audis have collided. And Polarock in the wall, not Lewis Hamilton out of the E-Prix. Can you even call this a race anymore? With the amount of collisions, it's a demolition derby at this point. But what I can tell you is that every driver who finishes will get points. We're down to 9. That's P. Sierra and Sanchez who have just touched rear ends. And that means the number 90 of Aldridge leads from UK Ball with a 5-second time penalty and El Carlos in 3rd. Then comes the other dragon of Stefan Salazar, then Batuco, Mohamed Nawawi, Yusuf, Dap Sanchez, and P. Sierra. Your 9 cars in this E-Prix. Oh my god. With 4 to go, we're down to 9. This isn't even the story of this season. It's just Magny Cours, mate. As into the wall has gone Aldridge. It was his time to flourish into the wall at some point, and that's allowed the 2 fastest cars on the grid to actually close in on that dragon. But we're going to take a look at his teammate because his UK ball's not close enough yet. And then to the wall has gone Salazar himself. He's jagged into the barriers himself. That's absolutely unheard of in Magny Cours, to be honest. But UK ball, he's 8 tenths away of getting past Aldridge. Probably being the Wall of Champions next victim. It's like a car magnet there. I've made, the Wall of Champions is literally a crash zone, no matter what F1 game you play. In Monoposto, the AI will just crash into it. In Alan Mobile, you can't even play that game. It sucks. And in F1, the breakdancing barrier. UK Ball, however, with a magnificent DRS overtake, getting past Aldridge, but into the Wall of Champions he goes, and that's him out of the E-Prix. Lap 21 of 24, 22 of 24 then, and El Carlos resetting the fastest lap of the E-Prix, a 1 minute 02.100. That's 1/10 of a second technically, but you know what? 100 sounds cooler. Salazar going very slowly, even though we're under virtual safety car conditions. He's got a lot of damage to his car due to the multiple slams into the barriers he's had. Virtual safety car is ending now. And can El Carlos, even though this isn't a race for points or anything like that, it's just a race for status, can he take his first race win ever? It's a very easy overtake. This is where he led for the first time. This is where he leads again. El Carlos takes the lead of the postseason at Magny Cours. Coming through the hairpin bend. And that bookends the track. And coming down the backstretch, Aldridge, he has nothing to say to it. He's got DRS, but that's more of a consolation prize at this point, more than anything. We've got 2 laps to go as soon as we get past the Wall of Champions, and El Carlos can't even manage that. He's lost one of his front wing. Aldridge retakes the lead of the E-Prix. We're on to the penultimate lap of the E-Prix as well. But down to 8 runners. As Sanchez got past Sierra there, they're going side by side down the backstretch. As Batuco, Salazar, Yusuf all come through the Wall of Champions and go into the Wall of Champions. Batuco, he's lost part of his front wing, has he not? Sierra just trying to close in on the Audi driver. We go on board with the trolley of Mohamed Nawawi. El Carlos got past Aldridge. We missed that overtake. As into the wall goes Mohamed Nawawi. And he's facing the wrong way now. El Carlos getting past the hairpin on the mini-map, which is on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. There's 3 seconds separating the two drivers now. The gap that El Carlos has pulled is immense, and he's not coming into the pits. He's not coming into the pits. It's too late for him to go into the pits now. And Aldridge is coming into the wall. Aldridge on the final lap as well. And is this where the Dragon Driver's story ends? Should have been a fairy tale ending, they said. Definitely should have, but currently, second place might be as good as it'll get. Batuco's in the wall in the same place, so he's done the exact same thing. El Carlos has set the fastest first sector of anyone. As here come the other drivers in on the scene. As out of the race goes Batuco and flipped. It's Batuco. Sierra flipping the app driver. As coming through the hairpin is Nawawi, but the man we're actually looking at is this man, El Carlos. We're under virtual safety car conditions. Nawawi might be the only driver who's lapped in the C3, but the fact that we only have one driver lapped is not the full story. The many drivers who are out of the C3 is the full story. Coming through the final chicane then, El Carlos wins the postseason at Magny Cours, and Aldridge is coming home currently to finish second. Stefan Sadazan, his teammate, is trying to defend from Yusuf to keep P3 on the road. It'll be P3 at the flag either way. Because of Yusuf's 5-second time penalty. Never say die, I say to every driver who enters this series. As Aldridge just about managing to get through the World Champions. Yusuf sending it down the inside with DRS, and he's up into third, but it's not going to mean too much when you have a 5-second time penalty and you've thrown it into the barriers. Oh my goodness me, and he's thrown it away on his last opportunity. And this is your podium then for the postseason at Magny Cours. El Carlos winning, even with the amount of crashes at the Wall of Champions that he had and everyone else had, in fact. Then come the two dragons of Aldridge and Stefan Sadazan. Then it's Staf Sanchez, P. Sierra, and Mohamed Nawawi. Only 6 cars finishing. Your non-finishers were Yusuf, Batuco, UK Ball, not Lewis Hamilton, Polar Rock, Tom O'Connor, Marcus Nelson, Raybo, Medicis, Blade Dragon Sonic, Mechanovic, Milestone, Catfish, Gamercat, Alan Lee, and Ina Babness. Well, I gotta say, thank you guys so much for watching the postseason at Magny Cours, and we'll see you again next year for Season 7.